XIII. This is Zeba Bora, and I'm here with
Mr. Matthews.
here's one of our professors here at XIII, and we're going to get to meet him today. So my first question to you, Mr. Matthews, is what is one thing you enjoy the most about teaching here at XIII?
I love the fact that we have this dual enrollment model, that I get to be a hybrid high school teacher slash college teacher. That's been my focus for a long time. Back when I was in the Bronx, I was working with Lehman College about college transitions, a think tank group with some other educators. So yeah, that's really what brought me here after I met Sam and her, and she described the position to me. It's exactly what I guess I'd consider my wheelhouse, maybe more my area of interest, and I hope it's slowly becoming my wheelhouse. But yeah, I think that's the best case scenario, that we can that I can exist on that bridge and kind of help people get from that high school mindset to that college mindset, that high school skill set to that college skill set. I'm not so interested in teaching graduate school or seniors in college. I like the transitional state.
I can help you. So my next question is, what would you do if you were not a teacher?
Ooh. I think some years ago my answer would have been different. I traveled quite a bit. I got a degree abroad. I worked at the United Nations. I was thinking about being a kind of a humanitarian cowboy, and so yeah, that would have been my first career. But then I sort of had one of those moments of, well, you can actually do quite a bit of good here at home. That maybe urban education is every bit as difficult as digging latrines in developing country. So yeah, I think a former version of me would have been doing that for a career, but that's not a different version of myself that I miss or wish would have come to pass. I think this was my calling. I very much have literature and pedagogy in my blood. I'm from a family of teachers. So to be honest, it's really difficult for me to think about another career. Right? I did my training, well, not my training, but my prerequisites to be a nurse at one point. And my wife laughs at me when she thinks about that. That I would be a terrible nurse. That I kind of am where I am supposed to be.
Do you have any other teachers in your family?
Yes, my mother was a second grade teacher, grade school level. My father was a high school level teacher at my high school, which was slightly awkward. I didn't take his class, but my brother did. And he taught Shakespeare, which made me completely opposed to Shakespeare for years, which is hilarious because now I love making it part of the great books class in particular. My brother's wife, also grade school. My mother, second, third, fourth grade. So really the question is who isn't a teacher in my family? And then my wife's family, her mother was a second grade teacher. So yeah, it's very much part of our family fabric.
Great. My next question is, what differences do you see in your morning students versus the afternoon students?
Ooh, and that you just mean in terms of who's had breakfast versus...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't have a third and fourth period class on B days. I don't have a fourth period class on A days. So this year, because of my department chair position and just luck of the draw, I've sort of dodged that end of day blues. So yeah, I guess that's me sidestepping the question. Everyone's pretty awake and with it, but mostly because I have them.
So if you could grow up in any decade, which would you choose?
Oh man. I think that I've been in the right decade. It's kind of a cliche now, but growing up in Seattle in the 90s, where music was just, we went to a couple concerts a week. It was very DIY. It was very everyone. Nowadays it's like making TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be that nostalgic guy that's like, well, back when we used to use copy machines to make flyers and have these community events that it was just this band playing in this garage. That was really kind of what it was like, though. It was sort of what you would see in movies. And so I felt very blessed to grow up in this just creative renaissance and sort of a creative renaissance of 90s art where people were just I couldn't play guitar. I mean, I took some lessons, but started a band anyway. And I think that's the beauty of punk rock and power chords, that you just sort of do it anyway and it's okay to be terrible. And so yeah, I'm very happy that those were my teen years. I think if I were to choose someone else's, adolescence, maybe the 1960s, just because it was such a time of tumult. But we've had a lot of tumult in the last 10 years, and so I guess I don't really look longingly at the late 60s and that kind of cultural rupture, because sometimes it's no picnic. And so part of me is very curious about the late 60s, but I don't know if at this point in my life I really would want to seek out cultural upheaval. And yeah, there was a lot of cultural creativity and experimentation in the late 60s, and I think that's why a lot of people are fascinated with 1968 in particular. And I include myself in that. But that's all water under the bridge. I'm moving forward. Maybe the decade that I want to be part of is 10 years from now.
Yeah. Alright, so my last question is, what is one book or short story you would read more than once?
Ooh. I'm about to read Karen Bender's Refunds again tonight. So I've read it more than once. She's going to come talk to us on Friday. She's my favorite short story writer of all time. She writes about kind of shifts in American culture. She's very much good at sort of pinpointing this is what's in the air right now and bringing that to life with her stories. So yeah, I'm just going to say Karen Bender because that's what I'm actually going to read more than once, but I probably have a laundry list of short story writers in particular that I would like to revisit. But I do geek out. I think I'm focusing too much on what's coming out in 2022, what's coming out in 2023, trying to just kind of keep up to date with new voices. So I think it's nice to go back to what you think is really quality, what you think is really meaningful to you, and you're not doing it just to kind of because it's like FOMO, literary FOMO, I think I'm guilty of that sometimes. So I'm glad you asked the question. I have that one short answer, but I think I'll probably go home, after dinner and go, maybe I can take stock and sort of think about the other stuff that's meaningful to me, not just for class. So thanks for the question. I'm going to take this as a rhetorical question. Yeah.
All right, this is Debbie. Thank you so much, Mr. Matthews.
Today, we're going to be making chicken and dumplings for my mom. Let's go. First, you're going to want to start off by washing your hands. I did this for a couple seconds. No, nothing over 30, but less than a minute because I want it to be thorough enough, not too thorough. Then you turn your oven heat, your stove heat to 5 medium, but you can turn it to 7 like I do later in the video. And you also want to turn on your light so that you can see better. And yeah, next you want to do some olive oil, which is good. You want olive oil so that it can help crispen up the skin and cook it better. And I just did a little circle motion, but you don't have to. And now you want to spread that by whipping the pan around. And right after that, I got about 6 dumplings. That's generally a general size for one person. I think my mom gets full easily, so 6 should be enough. Now those little green things are just the vegetables because they've been in the freezer. And what I like to do is to put them flat, or as flat as they can be, because that could help it crispen up, and I like it like that. And then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to get a cup, and just has to be a big cup, and you're just gonna want to fill it with water. It can be really any type of water as long as it's not dirty water. But you don't need to fill it up per se, but you want to just get a little bit of water, but just to fill out the bottom of the pan so that can help crispen up and so it can help cook faster. And after that, you're going to want to put the pan on for about 15 minutes until the water evaporates or starts bubbling. And once that happens, you should get something like this after a bit. Now, I did have trouble picking this one up, but I tried to pick it up again, and as you can see, crispy brown bottom. That's what you like to see, in my opinion, my favorite. And so here's the last 2 that I took out because the rest were good and they all have nice crispy bottoms. This one isn't as crispy, but it's still good enough, and you can really do it to however you like. Some people like it as dark as it can be, but some people like it like this, where it's like brown crisp, but not too brown, but not so not brown. And yeah, that's how.
Hi P-Tech, I'm Ava Levitt, and today I'm here with
Jared Levitt.
And to start us off, Jared, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself personally and then what you do for a living?
I live in New York City, and I work for Datadog, a data monitoring infrastructure monitoring company, where I'm a digital experience manager. I live with my cat and my girlfriends, and I have 3 siblings.
Okay, so where did you go to college?
I went to Purdue University, Boiler Up. I studied psychology there, majored in psych with a focus in industrial organizational psychology. I minored in organizational leadership and supervision, and I also minored in Spanish, but I graduated in 2014.
Alright, so how did you begin this career?
Right out of college, I worked for a company that I interned with in New Canaan called Unimin. My main focus there was learning management systems, some other HR systems. I did some tech training as well. And then from there, I got a job at Indeed, where I was a learning management system administrator and worked my way up to be manager of learning and collaboration technology. So there was a few steps in between there, but each step I kind of focused more and more on the system side and the digital experience side of things until I was owning all the systems at Indeed that supported learning and development, as well as some other HR systems there. And then from there, I went to a high frequency trading company where I was director of all of learning and development, kind of pivoted. And then I was only there for about a year. And then I've been working at Datadog since May in my current role.
So if someone wanted to get into this career, what path should they take? Like, for example, what should they major in college?
Yeah, so I majored in psychology and didn't really have like an engineering or tech background. So if I were to do it again and I knew kind of where I wanted to be afterwards, I would have maybe got my major in software engineering or some sort of computer engineering, computer science or something like that. Or I think they have like UI, UX programs now as well.
Okay, so to end this on a fun little note, what do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, I mean, I live in New York City, so I love going out to eat, going out to different restaurants, concerts, clubs, that sort of thing. And then when I'm home, I like to cook myself. I like to make some music in my spare time and then hang out with my cat Rooney.
So do you have any last advice you'd like to tell our P-Tech scholars?
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it a little bit before, but really it doesn't necessarily matter what your major ends up being, or the path you take to where you're trying to go, as long as you're like following your passions, you're constantly learning and looking for new things to learn that you're interested in, you can always build kind of your own career path and get where you're going. It's just important that you look for something you're interested in so that you don't hate your job. And I think ultimately you end up doing better and being more motivated when it's something that you're interested in.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us today, and
Anytime.
I will see you next time, P-Tech Norwalk.
In recent years, OpenAI has emerged as a leading research laboratory in the field of artificial intelligence. Founded in 2015 by a group of Silicon Valley entrepreneurs and technologists, including Elon Musk and Sam Altman, the organization is dedicated to advancing AI in a safe and beneficial manner. Since its inception, OpenAI has focused on creating powerful algorithms capable of solving complex problems by learning from vast amounts of data. Its early efforts were concentrated on developing cutting-edge models for tasks such as image recognition and natural language processing. In 2020, OpenAI achieved a significant milestone with the release of its GPT-3 language model. This breakthrough model demonstrated unprecedented accuracy in natural language processing, generating human-like text and performing a wide range of language tasks with astonishing proficiency. Taking inspiration from its success with GPT-3, OpenAI began work on the development of its latest model, ChatGPT. With a massive dataset of conversations and other forms of text, ChatGPT was designed to engage in natural and fluid conversations with humans. It was released in its research phase in November of 2022. The chatbot runs under GPT 3.5, which is more advanced than its predecessor. Today, ChatGPT stands as one of the most advanced language models in the world, capable of answering complex questions, generating creative writing, creating code, and even engaging in philosophical debates. Its developments propelled OpenAI to the forefront of AI research, pushing the boundaries of what is possible with AI technology. The field of AI continues to expand rapidly. On March 14, 2023, OpenAI released GPT-4. OpenAI claims that it exhibits, quote, human-level performance on many professional tests. For example, GPT-4 performed at the 93rd percentile on an SAT reading exam and the 98th percentile on an SAT math exam, OpenAI claimed. GPT-4 also passed a simulated bar exam with a score around the top 10% of test takers, while the previous model scored in the bottom 10% percentile. The AI field is moving rapidly, and it is likely that OpenAI and other tech companies will continue to develop and incorporate more advanced models in the future. This article has been generated by ChatGPT.